Okay. So as we get ready to come to the floor, this is your crocodile pose. A couple times in the class, you'll see me come down to a pose and get out of it as well. But I will always talk you through those points and let you know when I'm coming up, just because it's a little easier to talk. So when you come down to your belly, we're going to start with the arms coming together. You also could use blocks if you need blocks at any point. The feet going a little wider might feel a little gentler. Your forehead can come down either to your block or your arms. Sometimes just the hands is fine. You could just put your hands together. But you want your head to line up with your shoulders. So there's no restriction at the neck or at the throat. So just letting your head settle. And again, this is one of those poses, I'll come out of it, but you can stay in crocodile. We're going to center here. So first, checking in that you're comfortable. Make sure your chin is not pressing to the floor. Your chin's not pressing to your throat. There's no restriction. Slow down your breath. And take these first few moments to check in. Notice where the breath is moving. Notice how it feels. And if you can, you'll slow down your breath. Begin to watch the flow. Notice as you inhale, your belly presses to the floor. And when you exhale, your navel comes back towards your spine. Letting all your muscles relax. Find a slow and even rhythm to your breath. And at the beginning of each class, I've been introducing one of the yamas. This week, we are on the fourth yama, Brahmachara. And I'm going to read a quote from the book, The Yamas and the Niyamas. Brahmachara is the practice of moderation. Moderation reminds us to enter each day and each action with a sense of holiness rather than indulgence, so that our days may be lived in the wonder of sacredness rather than the misery of excess. And maybe just thinking of this practice, moderation, and how you'd like to bring it into your life, into your day. And taking a few deep breaths here in your crocodile position. And then as you take a couple deep breaths, you can start to gather your hands, gather your arms alongside of you. And we're going to come to a Sphinx pose. You can bring your elbows to the earth, coming to your hands, coming to your forearms, lengthening the back of the neck, gazing down probably at your mat or just a couple inches above your mat. We're going to stay here just a little bit longer. If for any reason you'd like a yoga block, you could bring the block in to support your head. It could come right underneath your forehead and be up tall, or we can just lengthen out through the crown. Again, letting the chin come down so the back of the neck stays long. Does anybody want me to get their block? And then do you want your block or you feel good? Okay. Just checking in. I didn't warn you before we got up here that we sometimes use the blocks. Now, as you find your nice Sphinx pose, keep Pressing just gently into your hands, your elbows, your shoulders come onto your back. And notice that you can soften gently through the low back, through the legs. At any point, you can always widen the elbows if that feels a little bit better. And then if you feel steady here, we're going to bring in a little bit of movement for the legs. Taking just the left foot, bending the left knee, and see if you can bring the foot just to be parallel over the knee, and then slowly let the left foot lower down. As the right foot comes up, notice what muscles are moving in your leg, in your core. Right foot comes down slowly. Let's do 2 more. Your left foot can come up. Keeping the neck soft. Right leg can come up. And then it's up to you if you can do 1 more each way. And then from here, coming back down with both feet. Once you come there, we're going to go back to crocodile. So you can bring your block down, bring your arms down, go back to where you started. Take your hands together or take your head even onto the block. So just letting your forehead rest. Take a deep breath here. And now let's lift the feet 1 more time. As you're laying in crocodile, keeping your head down, let your feet lift up in the air. Both of them can lift up this time. And now let your feet move gently to the left and to the right. Your windshield wipering, moving the low back slowly. And even your quads, your legs get a nice massage. And then bringing your feet back to the earth, taking a few more moments in crocodile. Completely melt down to crocodile. Notice any sensations that come into your body. Finding stillness for a few moments. If you can take Sphinx pose 1 more time, you can come back up to the elbows, to the hands. And this would just be another gentle Sphinx pose. You can stay here, keeping the back of the neck long, keeping your gaze down at the mat or just above the mat. And then not going to a place where you're forcing it, but we can release the neck just very gently, letting the shoulders stay on your back, let your head release, or the chin, the neck, the head release just very, very gently. You can let your left ear go to the left shoulder, chin to chest, right ear to the right shoulder. Just taking a small little stretch here for the neck. Your head can move. And slowly come back to the center point. Roll your shoulders on your back. Keep your heart lifting forward, collarbones broadening. And then your last crocodile. So we'll come back down. Just make sure you release your head completely. And we're going to take it into child's pose next. And there's a couple ways you can do it. As you walk your hands back, we can go to tabletop. If that doesn't work, you can take a seated position if this doesn't work for your knees. And we're going to take a version of child's pose where you can keep the hips lifted up, the hands can come forward, or the hips might sink back even a little further. Also, the bolster can be really helpful, putting the bolster kind of right underneath your chest and the head if you'd like to. So taking a child's pose there. If it doesn't work for your knees, let's take a seated position now. Just kind of depends. And I have a blanket. I could create a blanket for under the knees. That feel okay, Anne? All right, looks good to me as long as it feels okay to you. Everybody take another big breath here. And once you get to the pose, enjoying it for a few moments. Settle your shoulders. Take another big breath. And then we will inhale up and we're going to take a seat. So as we take a seat, we're probably going to be here sitting at least for 10 minutes. So I just want to say that to make sure everybody gets comfortable. I did get some blankets for anyone in the room here. I have some blankets in the back that I just grabbed from next door. So if you want a blanket, just let me know and you can sit on it. And just Also, take your time with any of these props and setting them up. So as you cross your legs, let's start with the hands coming onto the legs. You want me to grab your blocks? You got them? You got them. Awesome. As your hands come to your legs, let's just start to settle into your sit bones. You can cross your legs. You can have your feet together, just finding what's best for you. And then shoulders, both your shoulders are going to start to move, and you can roll them onto your back. Let's bring your shoulders up, down and back, and up, down and back. Now settling your shoulders, we're going to bring the arms, bring the hands to the floor. So then just kind of turn them in so they come up midway. There you go. Does that feel better? Yep. I just want to make sure this is a new setup. So yes, I'm glad it's purple too. Okay. All right, we're all set now. Hands are on the floor. Inhale when you feel ready, nice and slow, your arms come up. And exhale, let the arms come down. And we'll do that again. Inhale, the arms lift up. So start to find your own pace. You can take an extra breath or two if you need. As you inhale up, just make sure you don't hold your breath. And then bringing both arms up, just keeping the left arm up to any level, and take your right hand to the ground. Taking a gentle side stretch, you can have the left hand up or down. And then we'll inhale to come up and switch. We don't want to find any strain or any pain. So notice if you can go to a place where it's a gentle warm up. And we're going to go back to the motto of less strain, it equals more gain. So notice here, can you pause with the left arm up? Is there a place where maybe there is some tension and you can relax? Keep reaching through the elbow, reaching through the hand. Inhale, you'll come back up. Again, switching sides, finding that place of less strain and more gain. And we'll inhale to come back up. Now letting your hands come down, you can bring your hands to the legs. Let's check in with our range of motion. So I'm gonna just kind of turn to the side. I think it'll work, or I'm just kind of keep turning, to that catty corner, which works too, but we'll go this way for now. So from here, sitting nice and tall, your hands into your legs, take your left ear to your left shoulder and notice your range of motion there. Inhale, you'll come back up and take it slow. Take your right ear to the right shoulder. Feel that your shoulders don't move, just your neck and head. And we'll inhale and come up. Now just rotating, sitting tall, make sure the chin comes down just slightly towards your throat, so we're not lifting the chin. And then rotate to the left. Can you look to the left, only moving your neck and head? And can you come back? Rotate to the opposite side, the right, only your neck and head. And now finding the center point. This helps us find our posture and where we want to keep our head throughout the day. So notice here that you want to bring your chin in, and you saw me do it earlier, just touching my chin, bringing it down slightly. Notice as you soften your chin, you can lift the back of the head. You can reach through the back of the crown. And then from that point, can you rotate your whole head on your top vertebrae? So this one's a little slower, letting your chin just gently come down towards the throat, letting your chin lift up. Notice if you can just mostly move your head and it rotates on the top vertebrae there. So that's a challenge, just feeling your head move. And then we'll come back. And that awareness, that movement can help us with the chin coming down and lifting through the back of the head. Now from here, let's go ahead and change the cross of the legs. We've been here for a couple minutes. If the legs are getting tired, or if you can change the cross, let's switch it up. Now let's take it a little deeper with using our arms just to stretch the back, the arms back a little bit. So we're not going to use the strap today. If you have the strap and you want to use it, you can, but I'm not going to use it just right now. Taking your left hand or left arm and bringing it behind the body first, sitting up nice and tall. Notice if you want to just stay here, keeping your right hand down, and take your right ear towards your right shoulder. Good, so make sure you're still sitting tall, focusing on the upper trap opening. And let's inhale and come up. And then just very briefly notice if you can take your opposite right hand, can you hold your neck and just gently, not hold your neck, but touch your neck and gently reach your hands towards each other. So again, this could be a point where you could use a strap if you'd like. Take another breath or two and relax your arms down. Make sure you shake out your arms or shake out your shoulders a few times. And let's do that again the same way. Take your right arm behind your back, kind of like a half Gomukhasana to start. Sitting tall, navel up and in. Take your left ear to the left shoulder. And then from here, just gently breathing into your neck. Inhale, coming back up. And then your left hand coming to the base of the neck and reaching your hands towards each other, keeping a neutral spine here. Take a breath or two. You can always release that top arm if you like. And then both arms come down, shake them out a little bit, circle the shoulders a couple times. Now we're going to take that just a little bit deeper, and there's a way that you can activate your muscles. So again, make sure you're sitting tall. From here, keeping the navel up and in, take the right ear to the right shoulder first. And then there's a couple things we can do. We can take the right hand up and gently touching the side of the head. We're not pulling, but your fingertips are gently guiding this stretch. You can still do this even if the hand is down and you don't have it lifted. Pressing your head into your hand or just reaching through the crown of the head. Feel the upper trap activate just a little more. Now can you stay where you are, but relax your arms slightly and breathe into your neck. If anybody wants, we can turn the chin, turn your gaze towards the right, towards the armpit. Your hand might go behind your head gently. This changes to your levator scapula area. Again, can you activate the muscles by pressing your head back into your hand? And when you do come up, slowly relax your right arm, bring the head up. We'll do that one more time, just shake it out. From sitting tall, take the, I have to always really think about what side we're on. Take the left ear to the left shoulder. So feeling that your shoulders don't come up towards your ears, they stay even. And then on this side, this is where we're going to add the left hand if you'd like to. It's an option. Your hand can be on the side of the head, the fingertips maybe gently pressing. Now, if you can, lengthen through the crown of the head or press your head back into your hand. This will help activate the muscle we want to open. And then again, an option to change the stretch. You can look to the left, your hand can go behind the head, finding that levator scapula. Even if you're not with the hand behind your head, just looking down gently. And letting your hand come out first, your left hand comes out, inhale, and let the head come up. Rolling the shoulders a couple times, come up to a cactus position. This first time, just notice if you can bring elbows and hands towards each other. Maybe they touch, they don't have to. And then we're gonna open the elbows, see if we can do it one more time, bringing elbows and hands towards each other. They don't have to touch, but we're gonna try to hold it. Shoulder blades can relax just gently. Breathe in between your shoulders. Notice your chin. Can it come down as you lengthen through the back of the neck? And relax it slowly. Let's change the cross of the legs one more time. You're just gonna check in with your neck and feel that range of motion. So as you check in with your neck, you can have your hands on the ground or on your legs. So from here, notice your rotation first. Let's go to the left, gazing to the left. Notice if the neck has any more freedom. Come back slowly, still sitting tall, gazing to the right. Just notice what you feel. Coming back through center, we're gonna go up and down very slowly, almost like a cat and cow, just for your head. Chin towards the throat, feel your nose, feel your chin come up. So you're rotating just your head on that top vertebrae. Do that one a few times. Chin towards the throat, gently lifting up. Just try to isolate that movement. And then finding center. Last time, left ear to left shoulder. Notice how it feels. Whichever way. Come back up and go the other way, ear to shoulder. And then as you're ready to bring your head back up, your hands can come behind you. We can release the legs by stretching them out. Sometimes this is enough, just kind of stretching them out. The blocks can go under the knees if you need extra support, or your legs can just stretch out and swish them left and right. That's my official word, swishing them. Our windshield wiper is kind of the same way. So if anybody would like to bend the knees, take your feet to your yoga mat, we can try a seated windshield wiper and just be really mindful of your knees. You don't have to force them left and right, but find your own range of motion And then from here, coming back through center. Okay, now you're gonna get ready to come onto your back. So any way that you wanna face in this room works for me. You can stay how you are. If you need to see me better, you can turn your mat a little bit. Let me just change one thing. Okay, so as you come onto your back, you can lay down first in constructive rest. So that's gonna be bending the knees. So now we just did a nice warm up for the upper body. As you bend your knees, make sure you completely relax the upper body. And just set up anywhere, Nancy, that you can see me, just whatever works. It's great where you are, as long as you can see me or hear me. Oftentimes in this class, you don't have to see the whole thing, as long as you're listening and just kind of trying it out with your body. So each of you can have your knees bent, feel your low back start to release. And again, what I mentioned is keep your upper body soft. We just worked through the upper body. Notice if you can hug your knees into the chest, maybe using the hands, maybe not. And then if you release your low back, you could do that by rocking left and right. Also, you can just hold the legs into that still position or try rocking left and right. Now notice how it's different if we open the knees. Open your knees slightly, moving gently left and right. So almost like a small version of Happy Baby, not the full version. And then letting your feet come down, again, coming back to that resting position. And then from here, we're gonna hug in the right knee to the chest. So as you hug in your right knee, again, you could use your hands or not. It just depends where you are today. There's no right or wrong answer. Let's go ahead and stretch out the left leg. If you can, take it to the earth and stretch it out. If it feels better for your back or your leg, go ahead and keep your left knee bent and keep it on the floor. Soften your shoulders again. Let your knee gently hug in. Feel the back of the hip opening. Feel the glutes opening on the right side. And then we're going to warm up the right leg, stretching the right leg up to the sky, up to the ceiling. Again, there's an option to use your hands for the leg to stabilize, or just to keep your hands on the ground. But make sure your hips are on the ground. And let's point and flex the right foot. So point your toes to the sky, pull the toes back. And now stretch through the ball of the foot. So you're not just pointing the toes up, but push through the ball of the foot when you reach up. Relax it, bring your toes back, press through the heel, and then the ball. And then from there, you can pause that and circle your ankle. And go slow enough that you feel your range of motion. Again, there's not a wrong or right answer. I want you to go slow enough that you're feeling your body. Staying connected. Circle the other way. And then we're going to do this just about 3 times. Hug your right knee into the chest. Notice how that feels. And let's inhale and take the leg back up. Can you gently flex the foot? Exhale, bend the knee. Let it come to your chest. Inhale, stretching back up. And take your time. You can take an extra breath at any moment. There's no holding of the breath. The leg comes up. And then back down one more time. And let yourself relax back into it one more time. This is where we started. Hugging the right knee in. And then taking both feet to the floor. Try to stay there briefly. Can you feel both feet on the floor? Not at a place where you're arching the back. Make sure they don't go too far away. But notice the legs feel different. Awesome. And then we'll go to the left leg. You can extend the left leg up. Actually, I'm sorry. The first thing we did was hug the left knee into the chest. So we'll do that. We'll stay in order. As you hug your left knee into the chest, notice if you want to stretch your right leg out, or on this side, do you want to keep your right knee bent and keep it on the floor? So it's what works for you and for your back. If the leg's extended, you do want to flex the foot gently. And then from here, now when you're ready, let's stretch the left leg up. And we're going to start with the foot. Gently point through the ball of the foot, through the toes, and then bring the toes back, press through the heel. And don't overdo it. Remember, less strain is going to equal more gain. point and flex. And you can start to circle your ankle. Stay where you are. I'm going to come out of it just for a second, but stay where you are. Circle the ankle one way. And then circle the other. And then when you feel ready, pausing there with the foot, hugging your left knee into the chest, and we'll do that one 3 times. Inhale, straighten the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, hugging it in gently. So maybe 3 times. And then pausing with the knee in. Again, you might hold it, you might just let it hover there. Pause in that first position again. Melt your head, melt your shoulders. And then let both feet come to the floor, both knees are bent. And let's take a moment here to move into, if you can, if this is comfortable for your legs and for your back, move into a position where you bring your feet together and open your knees now. So we're in a Baddha Konasana position, a butterfly position with the knees opening. Take a moment there just to completely let go. Find your breath. And let's use the hands to come down to the legs. Your hands can scoop up the legs and coming back to center. So now from here, we're going to take a position where we are going to wake up the center of the body. We're going to wake up the core, keep working with the center of the body. So I'm going to describe it, but it's not a big movement. You're not going to see me moving much at all. You can think about just with your pelvis, you're going to be moving into a cat and a cow. So we're not lifting up from the ground, and it's just your hips, just your pelvis, and low back that's mostly moving. So your hands can relax down. Make sure your knees are bent, your feet are not too far away. That's going to overarch your back. And then staying on the ground, exhale, melt your low back to the floor, pulling your navel towards your spine. Inhale, gently arching the tailbone forward. You feel there's space now between your back and the floor. Exhale, press the low back to the floor, feeling the pelvis curl, and then slowly inhale, arching forward. We call this pelvic rocking. So your back's on the ground, your hips are on the ground, and with your pelvis, you're moving into a cat and cow. Not to a point of strain. Listen to your body. Exhale, press the low back in. Inhale just to where you're comfortable. Exhale, press the low back in. So do that 2 more times. And then as you go to that cat pose, curl your back to the floor, then start to release it, finding that neutral position or the center point between each pose. So can you find that place where you're not in cat, you're not in cow, and you feel the navel is up and in very gently. So now we're going to take a little more awareness into the pelvis, but first let's go ahead and stretch the legs out. We've had the knees bent quite a bit. So now if you stretch your legs out, you can just notice how that feels, completely melting, just like Shavasana. You're just about halfway through your practice, and you can check in, notice what sensations you have in the body. And then from here, we're going to come back to bending the knees. Now this takes a little more focus and a little more awareness, but if you got that pelvic rocking down, I'm confident we can get this part down too. So it's another thing where you don't see me move much at all, and I'm just going to describe it. Imagine at your pelvis, you have a clock, and maybe at the center of the pelvis, you can think of the center of the clock, there's a marble. And right now your navel would be 12 o'clock. Your left hip would be 3 o'clock. Your tailbone is 6 o'clock. Your right hip, 9 o'clock. So if we go to pelvic rocking, we're rocking between the 6 and the 12. So just maybe feel that 1 or 2 more times. Your marble at the center of the clock would roll to 12 to your navel. It would roll to 6 to your tailbone. And then again, start to find that middle point, start to find where your pelvis is just staying perfectly still and you're not in cat or cow. Now we're going to go into pelvic rolling. So we're going to make more of a full circle. Take your navel towards your spine. Imagine the marble rolling to the 12. Now keeping your hips on the ground, can you roll the marble to the 3, to your left hip? Roll the marble to your tailbone, feel that gentle arch. Roll the marble to the 9 and back to the 12. To the 3, to the 6, you start to arch gently, the 9, and the 12. Can you take that circle? Your hips stay on the ground, but take that circle again. Please tell me if it doesn't make sense, if you have a question. Can you go slower, feeling that whole circle of your pelvis? Now pause back at 12. When you get to 12 and you get to the top, that's going to be the safest part to pause and then reverse it. Can you go to 9, to 6, to 3? So we call that counterclockwise, right? Can you reverse that circle? If your legs move a little bit, if your hips move, that's fine. Just staying on the ground. All right, perfect. Let's just do one more. Feel that pelvic roll, your whole circle. You go all around the sacrum and come back to neutral. So again, just completely resting, let go of the work. And if you'd like, we can stretch the legs out again, just so we're not keeping the knees bent the whole practice. This is another place just to completely let go. And again, I'm going to sit up, but you can stay where you are. And I want you to close your eyes, come back to what sensations you feel in your body, especially in the hips and the center of the body. And today we're going to take that into a little bit of core work. Okay, I don't want to overdo it. I want you to feel how going slow, we can get a lot of strengthening and a lot of stability. So going slow is always a good thing, and we're going to take this into our core work. So bending your knees again when you feel ready. So this first part, where you're finding your neutral spine, I want you to notice that there's already a little core work. So when you're not going to cat and you're not going to cow, you're not arching your back, you're not over rounding your back. You feel that middle position. So you feel your low belly engaged. Now, if you can keep that position, your back doesn't move. Your curve of your low back, it doesn't touch the floor completely, but it's stable. It's not going to move. And then just relax your hands at your side. Let's do one leg at a time. Can you slowly start to pick up the right foot from the ground? Bring only the right leg to this reverse table position. So you're feeling all the stability in the low belly. So not the figure 4 position there, Nancy. It's a reverse table. So your right leg is coming up, but your shin is parallel to the floor. So if I extend my left leg, I think you can see it a little better. There you go. So keeping the left foot on the floor is probably the best thing for our backs. It's going to help you engage the core. Let's slowly tap that right foot back down. So you have both feet on the ground again. Now notice we don't want to arch the back. We don't want the low back to move at all when you slowly pick up the left leg. So that is the safest way to stabilize your core. Let the left leg come down. Think about your low back not moving at all and bring just the right leg up. Keep breathing and tap the foot down. So let's bring now the opposite leg up. And let's do one more on each side. So the slower you go, the better. You're going to have more control of the core, more control of the muscles, and feel that your low back is not moving. And after you're done alternating that, bring both feet down. Let's take a different release. Bring your feet wider. Let your knees come in towards each other. Your heels can go out slightly and the knees can fall in. And I read this recently. If this doesn't feel good, you could put the block between your knees and just kind of let your knees move to the block. So this is called a broken bridge. You're letting your hips open, your low back open. Relax your head and shoulders again. Now let's take a full windshield wiper. So open your knees, let your feet go even wider. Take your feet wider, knees wider. And then as you windshield wiper the legs side to side. Make sure you're gentle with your knees, not forcing them to the floor. And again, we'll come back through center. So we're just going to do a little bit more with that core work there. So as you're on your back, settling down, we're going to do the same thing where you have the option to keep both feet on the floor. Feel your low belly engage. You're not rocking the back when you lift your right leg up. Now you have the option just to stay here. If your back starts to arch, you don't want to overdo it. Can you possibly lift your left leg up, taking both legs up to this reverse table, and again, not arching the back, keeping the stability in your low spine. The feet are gently flexed, relaxing your head, relaxing your shoulders. This should be engaging the core. Now you could stay here, or maybe just tap your right foot down, keep your left leg where you have it. Keep your foot close when you tap it to the floor, and then bring the right leg back up. Only if you feel comfortable. If your low back is not arching, a little more core work. Switch feet, come back up. Switch feet, come back up. The slower you go, the more stability you get. And then it's up to you. Do you want to do it one more time? And pause when you're ready. Come all the way down to both feet on the floor, taking your feet wide, knees wide, another windshield wiper. And this time we'll move into a happy baby pose. So as you're ready to hug your knees in, you can release your low back just like that. You can hug the knees in. And when you're ready, we can open the feet more to of a happy baby. Your feet can touch, your hands can touch your feet, or you can just touch your legs. Let your feet open, let the knees open. Your knees can drop towards your ribs, bending the knees as much as you feel comfortable. And then pausing in your happy baby. Can you find a few moments of stillness there? Soften your shoulders, soften your neck. Letting both feet come down when you're ready. Stretching back out all the way. Take your legs long, take your arms out to the floor. Again, taking a few moments here first. And then maybe coming back a little bit to the upper body if you feel comfortable, stretching your arms overhead. We can do it with the legs long, but if you need to bend your knees, please make that change and you can bend your knees. If you stretch your arms overhead, can you feel the center of the body just kind of stretching and opening? Your feet go one way, your hands go the other. And when you feel ready, just sliding the arms down and keeping your head on the floor, keeping your legs straight. Notice here, if you are lifting your chin, can you bring your chin in towards your throat? We were doing that when we were sitting. And it's very slight, but your chin can come down and lengthen, the back of the neck opening up. Then from here, can you move just your head and neck a few times? Your head stays on the floor. Turn your head to look towards the left. It doesn't matter which way first. Keep your head and neck on the floor. Turn your head to the right. And this can start to massage the back of your head. So I'd like you to go as slow as possible. Keep going side to side. This can help open up your shoulders, your neck, and the bonus, you get the massage around your scalp. Eventually coming back to the middle, letting all of that go, even just that small movement of your head. Find neutral, relax completely. Pay attention to your body. How do you feel? Coming back again to the knees bent, we are going to get ready to take a bridge pose. So as you have your knees bent, we can take first just a traditional bridge pose with your hands down next to your hips. Make sure again the feet aren't too close to you because that would not be good for the knees, and the feet aren't too far away because that would arch your low back. So maybe just a little bit, walk your feet just forward a tiny bit, Jill. That looks a little better for your knees, but you can always play around with it some. Okay, so from your constructive rest, that's what we call this position, just getting into a resting pose. Start to feel your low belly engage, so you know that you're in a safe place for your low back. As you're ready to inhale, just keeping the hands down these first few times. Inhale, can you lift the hips, lift the spine, feel where you can go with your bridge, and then exhale, roll down through the vertebrae, lengthening the tailbone. Let the tailbone come down to the floor last. Inhale, we're going to lift up. Again, just finding a natural bridge where you're only lifting the hips. And when I say natural, just going to your own end point. Let's keep going. Inhale, you can lift. Be careful not to turn your head. Exhale, melting down. 2 more on your own. Coming back down, pausing there. And then we're going to keep flowing, so rest for a moment. Now this time, if you want to flow with your arms, you can add your arms, but you do not have to. It just depends what feels best for your shoulders and arms. So again, low belly engages first. Press your whole foot to the floor. Inhale, we're going to start to bridge. If you want to lift your arms, they might come up just right over the head or over the shoulders. Exhale, your hands come down, your hips come down at the same time. Inhale, lifting the hands, the hips, the spine. And when you come down, just carefully bring your hips and hands down at the same time. So we're going to keep going with this. You're going to inhale to lift up, taking a break if you need to at any point. Exhale, rolling down. Let's stay with it a little longer if you can. Maybe going slow enough that you close your eyes, connecting your mind to every movement. Now on your own, can you try 2 more? And when you're ready, let yourself melt. And let's go back to that place. If you're comfortable with it, you can bring blocks if you need to, taking your feet together, opening your knees. So letting go of the bridge, finding your Baddha Konasana. And now this time, maybe just stretching your arms to shoulder height. So you're adding a nice chest opener to this pose also. Remembering our motto, less strain, more gain. Take another few moments here if you would like to. And taking your hands down to help the legs come up. We are going to take a release for the sacrum now. You've been on your back a little bit. So I didn't talk about these props before, but if you have a block or if you have a blanket or a pillow, anything like that, we are going to take a very gentle inversion. I'm going to get my block. It's just behind me. So if anybody needs a block, just wave, or if it's too far away, do you want me to get it for you, Jill? Okay. So as you come down to the floor, if you had to move like me to get your block, let's go ahead and try the supported inversion. And anyone in here, you could use your miracle balls also, if you're preferring that at this point of the practice. If you have the block at home or the blanket, we're going to lift the hips. Take your block or blanket underneath the pelvis, underneath your sacrum, so it's a supported bridge. We don't want the block on the low spine. We definitely want it behind the pelvis or under the pelvis. And then you have a few options. You can get a release for your sacrum just staying here, feet down. We can take legs up. And again, this is a pose where I'm going to let you stay in it, but I'm going to come up so I can check on everybody. So again, it doesn't have to be the block. Do you want my miracle balls, Jody? Do you? No. Okay. And finding your supported inversion. It's very good for circulation, good for your legs. Let your shoulders melt. Let your head stay soft. And this is always your own practice. You might love this pose and want to stay for another minute, but it's your practice. If you need to bring your legs down earlier, you can bring your legs down. Maybe just keeping them on the floor. This brings a lot of blood flow into the pelvis, nutrients and oxygen come back to the legs once we do bring the legs down. Poses like this are even good for our veins and the health of our veins. So please take your time here. I never want to rush you, especially in this inversion. It can be very calming to be in these poses. And then as you do come down, give yourself time to bring the feet down, lift the hips, take that block away or any prop away, and notice what you need first. If you want to hug the knees into the chest and release your low back, but think about what pose or what stretch you need first. Maybe hugging the knees in. And then from here, we're going to just do one more thing that's active for the legs. So if anybody has a strap and you want to use it, you can, but again, you don't have to. It's really optional, and I can grab it for anybody too if I need to get one in the lobby. So having your strap around 1 foot, and sorry I didn't say that earlier. We're going to stretch the back of the leg. It really is your choice which leg you want to use first. Once you're stretching the back of the leg, feel that you can gently soften your elbows, soften your shoulders. All right, wonderful. And come back to that. We're going to integrate a little bit of everything that we did today. Feel that mobility of your pelvis, that you could be in cat or cow, but you want to feel stable. So feel that your navel's up and in. You're just in the middle of cat or cow, keeping very, very neutral. And then if you'd like, you can stretch your opposite leg out, but that is going to be a little more challenging for the low back and for the legs. So make sure you're deciding what's right for your body. And keep your leg that's on the floor extended, keep the foot flexed gently. That keeps your muscles active. All right, and then from here, we'll do this just 3 times this afternoon. As you take your, we all have different legs. Take one hand to the strap, taking the right leg out to the side, except Jody, I'm sorry, because I said either leg. Take your leg out to the side. Inhale, you'll come up. And then from here, let's all switch hands, and you can open your opposite arm, go into a gentle twist for your IT band. So taking your right leg, Nancy, towards the left side. There you go. So getting an IT band stretch there. And then coming back up, we're going to repeat it, opening the leg out to the side. This is more core work. Keep your back on the floor. And then each of you, when you come up and you switch when you're ready, your hips can roll here, but keep your shoulders down. And like I said, just 3. If you do more, that's fine, but this third one, you can take the IT band stretch, look to the side, and come back up. And then as you come back up, let's go ahead and just bend the knee, bring the foot down, switch the strap to your other foot. So again, you can integrate this work where you're stabilizing your low back, not rocking it at all. And then you decide if you want to stretch out the opposite leg or keep the foot down. Melt your shoulders. Let's take the leg out to the side first. You're working your core, navel up and in. And come back up. Switch hands. You'll take your left leg over to the side to the IT band stretch. And again, just a reminder, when you're doing these at home, doing these, on your own, you don't have to do one leg first, then the other. You can kind of choose which leg. And then from here, probably did more than 3. Come back up. Bend your knee, bring your foot down. There's one more thing I'll give you an option to do. If you want to skip it, you can. Taking the strap to both feet. This is just one last little stretch, keeping your shoulders down and your arms as relaxed as you can. Both feet go up to the strap. The ball of the feet are connected to the strap. And then from here, we're just going to check in. Can we widen the feet on the strap? You're probably widening your hands and just getting your legs nice and long. So it's kind of a way to do a wide fold, but you're on your back. Pressing your legs just to straight, but not locking your knees. Press through the heels. Press your sit bones towards the floor. And bring your feet together. One last time, you can bring the soles of the feet together. Guide your feet down to your butterfly position. Your feet can touch with the strap. The strap can help and feet can touch. That's fine too. Just bring your feet down as they come together. Knees can open if that feels comfortable. Butterfly pose one last time. Arms can go to cactus position. So that's your arms either at shoulder height or elbows bent. Let go of all the work. Let your hands come down when you're ready, scooping up the knees. We can move the strap. Take your broken bridge one more time. So that's your knees coming together, your feet go wider. What that does, it opens up your hips, it opens up your sacrum, and it lets there be some space between the hip joints. Take a breath or two here, completely melt. And let's walk the feet in, take a final twist where we can rest here. Your block or your bolster can be on your left side. Let's take a twist where your hips come to the right. Shift your hips to the right, knees come in, they move to the left side, to the blocks or the bolster. So this is just a reclining twist. Arms can open. Again, you can stay in the twist, but I'm going to come up. And just let your arms gently open. You might look to the right. Breathe into your twist. You want to engage your navel as you bring the knees back up. And then from here, you can shift the other way, shift your hips to the left, knees can come in, move to the right. And just whichever side you're on, find where you're comfortable. You want your shoulders to stay down. Breathe into it. And then coming back up very slowly, letting the knees come back up, doing that stretch for the neck and head just one more time. So notice here that you can bring your chin down slightly, lengthen the back of the neck on the floor, and that's called a neck nod. You're almost barely moving at all. And then let your chin come back up and relax. Feel your chin come towards your throat, the back of the neck opens up gently towards the floor. It doesn't actually press to the floor. And then lift your chin, relax it. Do that neck nod again. Bring your chin towards your throat. Just feel the back of the neck opening. And one more. So you're just barely moving. Bring your chin slightly towards the throat. Open the neck. And then relax it. Now feeling it one more time, just very subtle. Bringing the chin down and start your rotation. Let's just do it 2 times to end it. You can look one way with your head. Rotate slowly, look the other. So you're just moving your neck and head. Keeping your head on the ground, getting this rotation. Go as slow as possible, the last one. Feel this opening, your neck, your jaw. And then you'll come back to the middle. If there's any stretch you need before Shavasana, you can move, you can stretch. If you're just ready for Shavasana, you can bring your legs out. If you'd like any props, you can get a prop. Even the bolster that we have here, it can be really nice under your knees. Do you want me to slide it under your knees, Anna, so you could try it, or just you feel great how you are? Okay, she feels great. Jody, you want your bolster? You feel good? Okay. You want a bolster blanket? Okay. I am just going to turn off the lights in here, and I will be right back. So get yourself into position for Shavasana, noticing what you need. It's just a little nicer with the lights off. And just notice as you come back to the body, finding stillness, and notice your breath. Let your breath come and go. And notice where it's moving. Notice how it feels. And can you slow down? Can you quiet your breath? Letting your muscles melt. Feel your joints softening. Let your body become heavy. Your body is melting. Let your thoughts come and go without judgment. Coming back to the breath. Very gently come back to deepening your breath. And as you deepen your breath, slowly moving the hands and the feet. And taking as much time as you need to roll to one side. Taking a few breaths on your side. And coming up to sitting. Sitting if you want with the bolster, the chair, or anything that's helpful. And as you take a seat, just closing our practice, we'll cross the legs however that's comfortable. Let your hands come down and start to widen through your sit bones. Let your shoulders come onto your back, closing the eyes, lengthening your spine. And again, coming back to that practice of the yamas, I'll read about Brahmacharya, which is the fourth yama, and that means moderation or non-excess. Moderation, it reminds us to enter each day and each action with a sense of holiness rather than indulgence, so that our days may be lived in the sacredness, the wonder of sacredness, rather than the misery of excess. Taking hands to heart center, finding maybe how you can take moderation into your day, or finding any intention that you would like. And then bowing to your own beautiful heart, honoring the life that is here before you. And we also bow to each other. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, everybody. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for coming on Zoom.
And thank you, everybody.
So good to
Thank
see
you.
I love Somatic. Thank you, Nancy. All right, so let's see.